We're back. We're back. It's Thursday,
Yes,
a couple
sir.
days after the national championship, which we'll briefly touch on because we got a lot of other things to talk about today. Where do we want to start with this game? Which actually, I'll take lead. I'll take lead because
Okay,
this.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I texted some guys from school.
Okay.
One of them was like, "Does Carson Beck have it in him?" And I said, I'll let you know. He doesn't. What
Yeah,
do you know? What do you know? He throws a pick that was, I don't know,
terrible read, man.
terrible read.
It's cover two, man, and you don't have anything to hold the flat defender, and he's sinking. Come on, now you don't got the arm to fit it in that hole. You can't throw that whole shot right there, man.
No, no,
Great play by the corner, though, man.
it
Great play.
was. Honestly, it was one of the better national championship games I think I've watched in a long time, if I'm to be completely honest.
Can
Are you different about that?
so I have a confession to make, y'all. I only got to see the fourth quarter of the
Okay.
game.
Okay.
Granted, the fourth quarter was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I will say, yeah, the end of that game, from what I saw, it was a fantastic game. I'm in the camp that I think Indiana probably is in the top three teams of all time. It's in that I'll say top four. It's I think they're in the echelon with 19 Alabama or yeah, I'll say 19 Alabama because I don't believe in 19 LSU, but 19 the Alabama, '01 Miami. Like I think they are legitimately in that conversation.
Yeah.
And Miami, shout out them. They played their tails off the whole postseason. But yeah, that game was electric, man. I mean, we got a all time moment that Mendoza run. That's an all time moment.
I talked a little bit about it on TikTok. He's like
Yeah.
living every kid's dream right now. Like, swear to God,
Yep.
it is like a
Yep.
road to glory. Like, you start off at Cal, which isn't like a bad or great school.
Mhm.
You go to Indiana with an unproven head coach. Well, I wouldn't say unproven because he wins everywhere, if I'm to be honest.
Everywhere.
So, a lot of questions with the head coach. Indiana's starting to look like a dynasty now. You win the Heisman, and now you're projected to go first overall, allegedly to Oakland, I guess, if it falls their way.
Yeah. That's a
So,
whole other conversation. I think I talked about that last week, what my
yeah,
philosophy is. But
yeah,
but I mean, yeah, he's deserving of a number one overall pick based on the class and how he's played this year.
yeah.
I want to say this about my boy Sig though. Uh Everybody talks about Sig and they briefly mention who he was, you know what I'm saying, or that he spent time under Saban. He spent 4 years with Saban at Bama. Nobody talks about that time frame that he was actually there and what he was doing. He was the
Mhm.
wide receivers coach and our recruiting coordinator at the time that he was there in 2007. His first class, the receiver that he brought into Alabama was Julio Jones.
There we go. There we go.
We should have known this man could identify the whole time. He knows what he's doing, man. So
Yeah. And he's
so
reloading this year too. He is
yeah,
absolutely reloading this year. Um, Now I will say well, I mean, Josh Hoover comes in. You get Nick Marsh from Michigan State,
yeah.
who I think is arguably the best wide receiver in the transfer portal, or was.
Hmm.
The one thing that I will say that's interesting, um, and this is like I don't know if I want to. His little brother wins a national championship, hits the transfer portal the very next day, commits to Georgia Tech the same day.
Yeah. Uh
Doesn't,
I think there was something there what's understood didn't need to be said.
yeah.
You
I'm
know what
not
I'm
saying he
saying?
would have won or lost a starting spot. I just find it odd that
He already
just
knew where he's going.
the timing of it all is crazy. Yeah.
I do think I'll say this. I do think there was probably a general understanding between Sig and the Mendoza family of what was going to happen.
Hmm.
And I think he allowed him to figure out what his next move was as long as it wasn't public. And I
Yeah.
think him and Georgia Tech probably came to that agreement. I'm actually not too mad at that. Like that was that was a graceful way to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Especially because
Hmm.
if he doesn't handle it that way with the current screwed up calendar, you know what I'm saying? We he would have been
Yeah.
fighting for a spot that didn't exist. Like it was good on Georgia Tech to be able to hold that spot for him.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a
Mhm.
fair point. Golly, which that can lead us into our next point too, because I'm just thinking about this. What you said, you mentioned transfer portal.
Right.
Actually, this wasn't even on the agenda, but I want to bring it up now too, because I had a very, very long discussion about this yesterday with a good friend of mine, and the NCAA. I'm going to predict in the next 5 years will not be relevant, and the Big Ten, the SEC are going to combine into a joint. I don't
Yeah.
know what they're going to call it, but it's going to be their own separate thing.
Yeah, they're trying to bully them into this playoff expansion that I can't
Exactly.
stand.
Exactly. It seems like the Big Ten wants to go to 24. The SEC is leaning towards 16.
Yeah.
Um, and that actually leads into this point. And like I said, I've mentioned this before we started filming, okay?
Yeah.
Not throwing any shade. Now, because we got away with it too, if I'm to be completely honest, with Tennessee and
Yeah.
Nico. Chuck comes back from the G League. He's not the only person that's done it. There's been like three or four other people. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All he has to do is put a restraining order against the NCAA, which we did with Nico pretty much,
Uh-huh.
and he's eligible to play.
Yeah.
Where, like, at this point, the NCAA has really no say unless they're trying to usher Congress in to make some decisions, which that is never going to happen in my opinion. I don't see that ever happening. So there's no relevance to them at this point like, when it comes to anything.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no. I was just saying because now that I'm talking about it, and this is the odd thing to me. Okay, you get guys coming back to the G League, and I get basketball and football are two completely different sports. But you get a guy like him coming back to the G League. There's a dude from Baylor that came back to the G League. I think Louisville's got one now too.
Yeah.
You're gonna allow them to play, which I guess it's a little different. But yet, when it comes to college football, you're denying Trinidad Chambliss a year of eligibility. You're
Mm.
denying. Okay, I'm just going to stop at Trinidad because the other guys are irrelevant to me. Okay, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So,
See, okay, I'll say this, man. Like, we Trinidad should never play college football again.
yeah.
That's my opinion. Trinidad should never step on another college football field. My other opinion is also that Chuck shouldn't have came back. For people who don't know what I'm talking about, it's Charles Bediako from Alabama should never come back. James Najee is the only one I do think has some gray area out there at Baylor. But I don't think he should have been allowed to play. And whoever the G Leaguer is that's out there, none of them should ever be allowed to play college basketball. I hate, and this is weird. Like I never feel like I should ever have to come to the defense of the NCAA. And when I do, the coaches are doing grimy things to the sport and being very expletive. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about it, like it's not like this rule is something new, right? Like this, like in all likelihood, has been a loophole that could have been exploited throughout all the history of college basketball. Like this isn't the invention of NIL or the transfer portal that really is like doing this. This is just coaches finding a loophole, aka Scott Drew opening up the wormhole, and now here we are, right?
Yeah.
I so yeah, I think the NCAA this like obviously they can't do it now mid-season, but hopefully they can find a way to rule these players ineligible, and then also like in the offseason, here's what I think the rule should be. If you are the age of 19 and you have played any level of a professional sport, you are no longer eligible to compete in the NCAA.
Mhm.
That could be G League, that could be overseas. As long as you could play it while you're 18, as long as you're not 19, you can come over to the NCAA, and that I think solves a lot of the issues. Just write it out point blank. There's no loopholes to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The good thing about Charles Bediako is the restraining order only lasts for 10 days. So technically,
Ironically, again, no, I'm
ironically, he
kidding.
gets to play against Tennessee this Saturday. We'll see what happens with that. But I think he's gonna play. I
Yeah.
don't think we're going through the trouble for him not to play, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna play. I do want to offer this, and then I'll toss back to you. There is nuance in the situation because I've seen a lot of Bama people be like, "Well, he's played less professional minutes than James Najee. Like, why is he?" Chuck went to college for 2 years, entered the NBA draft, had the opportunity to hear voices, and I really do like Chuck as a guy, like his guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Had the opportunity to hear what the draft people were saying, and then either forego his college eligibility or enter the draft. He made that decision to leave college to go undrafted. That was him. He listened to the wrong people. He should have came back and played another year, but he left. He's been gone for 3 years and has signed three separate NBA affiliate contracts. James Najee, on the other hand, I'll give him this, whether I like it or not, got drafted from overseas, never played a possession of college basketball, continued to play overseas, and never officially signed his NBA contract and never signed an NBA affiliate contract. The only thing he did NBA affiliated was play in the summer league 1 year.
Mhm.
So I get why there's a loophole with that
Yeah.
to some extent. Charles Bediako is pushing it as far as he can. Shame on Nate Oates.
He made a
For,
quote too that he said, "Oh, my fault, my fault. I took it
go
away from
ahead.
you."
No, go
No,
ahead.
he was making a quote about it being like bad for the sport, and then he's doing the
Right.
same thing. That's what I'm going to leave it at. But I will say this, and you brought up a good point. Okay, we've mentioned it before on a different episode.
Hmm.
There's there's really not you can't be pointing fingers at these G League players and then allow these overseas guys to come and play. Because you look
Exactly.
at it, they're playing professional ball overseas. They just haven't signed an NBA contract. What's the difference of going, making money overseas versus making money in the G League?
Right.
So now I think with Charles's which I was reading up a little bit about it. This is still technically his time cycle of he still technically had college eligibility
Hmm.
prior to going to the well, okay. I'm trying to word this properly.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Go ahead.
this was still his like he still technically would be in college right now if he had
Yes. In theory, he if had he redshirted.
yeah. So
Uh, but yeah.
that's the one argument I've been reading about of why this is a quote unquote a little different because versus like a 23-year-old coming back and playing, which I don't know how old is he? How
Yeah.
old
He's 23, I
is he
believe.
23? Okay.
Yeah.
So that point's irrelevant then.
Yeah,
But yeah, and saying that it's hypocrisy if you want to let these overseas guys come and play in
exactly.
my opinion. And
You got
that's
to
been a
keep them out too.
problem. Huh?
I say you got to keep them out too.
Yeah, that's been a problem since I can remember too.
Hmm.
Because I with not throwing shade here at my own team, but we did that with Santiago Vescovi. He comes
Yeah.
in after playing overseas in Argentina, deemed eligible mid-season.
Right.
So
That's the
what?
other thing.
Yeah,
They have to cut off all midseason editions. I
mhm,
don't care about early enrollees. I don't care about none of them. Midseason editions should no longer be a thing in any sport anywhere.
yeah,
You have the entire year to build your roster leading up to the offseason. You have from let's just say the first week in April all the way until November to build your roster and decide what it's going to look like for the next year. You have multiple transfer portal windows, you have two signing days. That is your roster for the year. You don't get to go add anybody, NBA, high schooler, anybody to that team mid-season. That
yeah,
has to come to a stop. I can't stand it. I Even Syracuse with the what's the kid's name? Calvin Russell, I think is his name. He's playing
yeah,
football and basketball.
yeah.
They had him mid-season. Sorry, not eligible to play. When Kentucky did it with Shaden Sharp, and Shaden Sharp didn't even play much, I don't believe. Uh,
Not as much. Yeah,
but even then, sorry, you came not eligible to play. That should be the rule. Uh, the other thing with with Chuck is I want to use it to make this point. And man, I'm starting to feel like an old head the way I'm talking. But they need to go back to the days of when you decided that you were going to enter, you lost your eligibility right then, and you couldn't come
Yeah.
back in. And the NCAA actually doing something that was supposed to benefit the players for once is now coming back to bite them.
Yeah.
And now people are exploiting it because now entering the draft doesn't technically forego your eligibility. Well, let's start making these players make smart decisions. They're also making a lot of money. They also have agents now that they weren't previously able to have. At this point, let's start making them make smart decisions. Now you need to really decide: am I going to the league and am I going to say goodbye to college, or am I going to come back and stay in college? Because you can't do both. You can't go to the league and be like, it didn't work out for 3 years. Let me just go back and play college ball for a little bit. That
Yeah.
is ludicrous.
Well, they can make more money in college ball at this point too than
Yeah.
and that's the other thing too when it comes to that. You've got high school kids signing deals,
Yeah.
signing shoe deals, and football and basketball because we're two good examples of football and basketball. I'm not throwing shade because I love
Hmm.
them both, but Tristan Keys was an Adidas athlete in high
Yeah.
school, and then I think Nate has I think it's Reebok. I think it's Reebok.
Hmm.
Now, I will say this too, because it's mind blowing that it's starting to trickle into baseball because there's a he's a freaking stud, let me tell you, dog.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this all works too when it comes to high school and baseball but we got a kid from Macaulay that's an Adidas athlete for baseball, and it's
Really.
yeah, shout him out. But that's the thing is, which is a little different too because they're underage. Everything goes through their parents.
Yeah.
So.
I I am I am not totally against high school NIL. I actually did an interview with a sports agent about this not too long ago. And I'll only talk about this quickly, but um, I do believe that um, you should not be able to sign a NIL deal in high school with a company based outside of your state. Now,
I like that.
granted, that's gonna, bring some advantages to certain people. Like if there's a five-star basketball player in Oregon, he has the opportunity to now sign with Nike. Sorry, that's just how
Yeah.
it works. That's just how the cookie crumbles. But uh, I don't think you should be signing with national brands when you're in high school. Uh, I think let's keep amateurism where we can. Granted, it's still technically amateurism because it's not being paid to play. Uh,
But that's the thing, and I had the same conversation too. It's not amateurism at all. It's
yeah.
not because using gymnastics as an example, because my sister was a college gymnast. You've got Olympic athletes prior to this whole stuff.
Yeah.
You had to go. Now I'm blanking on the term. You had to become an elite.
Hmm.
And if you became an elite to go focus on your Olympic career, professional career, your college eligibility was deemed gone, right?
Yeah.
And that was a situation with my sister because she was debating on if she wanted to train for elite or go to college. She ended up ultimately choosing the college route. But if you chose to become an elite, lost all of your eligibility. Now you've got Olympic athletes, which not hating on that at all. I understand
Mhm.
it, but they're going and competing in the Olympics, coming back and competing in college. In my
Uh,
opinion, and I'm not throwing shade at all. This is just want to
Sony,
point that out. This is just a point.
Sony.
SUNY, Jordan Childs, that's another one.
Mhm.
But they're going to making professional decisions coming back to college. In my opinion, I'm looking at this, it's not amateurism at all.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
just an outsider's point looking at it. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good. I mean, it's the same point I'm making. Uh, yeah, I just think high school needs to be protected. You can't sign deals outside of your state is my rule because local businesses, for the most part, will be the ones that. You know what? I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna backtrack. I want to make this a little bit clearer. High school and college, for the most part, but high school more so. I need to see you actually being paid for your name, image, and likeness.
mhm.
That means this. If you are signing a deal with the company, again, I still think it should be in your state. But if you're signing a deal with a company, let's say I'm at Macaulay and I'm a football player and Champions wants to sponsor me.
Shout out. I was literally about to make that exact point.
Boom. Champions wants to sponsor me. There needs to be either Champions flyers with my face on it. There needs to be a Champions billboard with me in a Macaulay uniform or me and my face holding up the basket of chicken. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be something like that as a paper trail that verifies that you are giving me an NIL deal and not being uh, under the table uh,
Yeah.
paid money. Kawhi Leonard is an example of this in the NBA, where he had that whole second contract thing where he was getting paid under the table. There needs to be a paper trail and proof of work for the money, because NIL, name, image, and likeness, those are all things that are used as marketing tactics. There needs to be proof of marketing concept and proof of sales push and work done for the money. That's my only issue with the NIL, is that there needs to be proof of concept and proof of work actually happening to make all these deals more legitimate. That's
Yeah,
it.
and you've talked about this before. It was never supposed to be pay to play.
Exactly. It wasn't just like, oh well, you're a big name, so you get money. No, you're a big name, so we can use you to push this product, and you get money for receiving that.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It is
It
what it
it is it is absurd in the grand scheme of things, like not just wanting to throw Charles under the bus here because he was just
is.
my
Oh
leading
man, nah, I
talking point.
mess with Chuck, but throw him under the bus.
Yeah. This is my next point too. When
Go
it
ahead.
comes to, because I'd mentioned this before, when it comes to we've talked about college playoff expansion and college football playoff expansion. You're looking at expanding the March Madness bracket. It's trickling in. It, huh?
Please don't touch it. It's perfect.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen with basketball. It's just sooner rather than later. When's it gonna happen? But now there's rumors floating around with college baseball. Okay, and that is something that is near and dear to my heart, if I'm to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Um, the quote I've got, and it's an anonymous thing, right? Um, I'll read it real quick. It's never been a level playing field, but right now, how do you fix that with what's going on? You don't. That it's kind of a little vague post from what I've caught on. Um, but the leading headline is can competitive balance in college baseball require formal separation? Why was that a tongue twister? I have no idea. But you can look at college basketball and see all these Cinderella teams, there's pretty much one in every bracket. With college baseball, and this is my point I'm making. I feel like there's more top bottom athletes all over the board in college baseball. And you look at conferences like the Sun Belt, you look at the West Coast teams, UC Santa Barbara is always a good team. You look at Coastal Carolina, they're always a good team.
Mhm.
Southern Miss is always a good team. Troy is always competitive. The list goes on, especially when it comes to West Coast baseball, because that's a completely different style of play.
Yeah.
Now, I understand where they're going with if it is about NIL. We've taken advantage of it. LSU's taken advantage of it. All the SEC teams, they're taking advantage of it. But my argument is baseball is such a completely different sport that you never know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. You could have a guy that's the number one draft prospect go out and have a terrible day and they get beat.
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina and Murray State made the College World Series last year. Murray State had an improbable run, pretty much, which they didn't win a game in the College World Series,
Yeah.
but they went to Oxford, Mississippi, and upset Ole Miss.
Right.
Coastal
Look, crazy
Carolina's,
stuff happens in baseball.
yeah, huh?
Crazy stuff happens in baseball.
Exactly. And Coastal Carolina has proven themselves as almost like a national powerhouse when it comes to baseball. They've won it. They've made it to the College World Series how many times now? And it's like I said, the Sun Belt is just I'm going to say a powerhouse when it comes to baseball just because of the talent they bring in.
Hmm.
Um, you look at the midweek games last year too, and granted, I will say this: midweeks are always a little different because you're not going to throw your aces out there.
Exactly.
But ETSU led the nation in home runs last year.
Yeah.
They came into Knoxville, we were undefeated, going for the record of most games won, but the best start. They come in and beat us, and I forget how many home runs they had,
Yeah.
you know? So if they're talking about that for college baseball, that is my proving point of I think the NCAA and college athletics is just officially going to be killed if they end up doing something that with along that lines with college baseball. Because there's no reason. That is a point. There's no reason in college baseball to separate these conferences and leagues.
Mm-mm.
So that's my rant.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on it, man. Like, there's certain things that honestly, football right now feels like the only sport, like scheduling and playoff wise, that needs to be amended. Like, baseball is fine where it is. Like, again, and I think it's the damn, I can't say the word, unpredictable nature of the sports. That football just tends to be a lot more predictable.
Mhm.
But the unpredictable nature of basketball, of baseball, shit of soccer, uh, all those sports are great where they're at right now. Just please don't touch it. Just
Yeah.
allow it. The only thing we need to amend is the is some of the guardrails around NIL and things like that, but in basketball specifically. But I feel like even in baseball, it's not so rampant that it's really becoming an issue at this point. Let it be. Let's focus on the elephant in the room, not the mouse. You know what I'm saying? Let's focus on that. And I feel like we'll start to head back in some positive directions in college
Yeah.
athletics.
And we've talked about this before too, with college basketball especially. They're talking about expanding the brackets to 72 teams. It's not for these mid majors to get a say. It's for these 500 SEC, Big Ten, however, whatever conference, those borderline on the bubble teams to make it in. And what point should they? Why would I think Texas was a good example last year? Now,
Right.
granted, it's a sticky situation with that Texas team. They were on the bubble. From what I remember, they made it in, or maybe it was Oklahoma. Which one was it? Was it Texas and Oklahoma?
I think it was Texas.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the
Arkansas, here's the deal. Arkansas was another team that was on the bubble, but they here's the deal with that though. They won a couple games in the tournament,
exactly.
which is a completely it's and that's the problem. That's the problem now that I'm talking about it. You never know what team's going to get hot or cold. But in saying that, it's not representation for the mid majors, it's representation for the big Power 5 conferences, which I don't
So
I don't even want to say Power 5 because you got so many top bottom good conferences like the Big East. Anyways.
I'll say this, man, and I'd honestly include the Big East in the Power Five for basketball.
Yeah.
I'd say Power Five for basketball, but I'll say this, man. What are you fighting for? Because you don't need any more representation than you're already having, right? And if you're a Power Four conference, let's talk about the SEC. Chase, do you remember how many teams from the SEC made the tourney last year?
I think it was like 11 or 12, right? Out of 16 or 14. Was it 14 out of 16?
14
Yeah.
out of 16.
Yeah.
You had two teams don't make it, and they both sucked. Bad Nick. I know y'all were trying to hoop at North Carolina or South Carolina. I know LSU was sorry, but they both sucked. That's why they didn't make it. You had Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Missouri, Mississippi State, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas all make the big dance. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
You have your representation. The mid majors all still got their representation. If you're good, you get in the tournament. There's a very clear and defined system, unlike the college football playoff sometimes, where you know how you can get in. You have this many quad one wins compared to somebody else. You have this many quad two wins. If you're
Hmm.
playing quad three games all the time, you're probably not going to get in.
Yeah.
It's very simple formula. Why are we trying to expand it? It's good. It's perfect where it's at. We have so many metrics and ratings, and we have a clear kind of understanding of what the bracket is always going to look like before it even happens because we've had transparency with the committee that chooses these people to understand what it is that they're looking for each year.
Yeah.
It's good. Leave it alone. It's
Hmm.
perfectly fine. It's 64 teams. It already takes about a month anyway, and it's one of the most popular sporting tournaments in all of sports.
Hmm.
It's good. I promise it's okay. I promise it's good.
They don't want to hear that though. They just see the dollar sign, you know? A couple more games. Let's put a couple more games in there. I don't know how it's gonna go, but yeah, it's more money in our pockets. So
Y'all already picked 68 teams.
I personally like 64 was always fine with me. 64
Yeah,
was always fine with me. The 68 and you got the play-in games, right?
yeah. I don't mind that.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Now the decision to make those play-in games is interesting to me because that's a whole conversation. But I don't mind it. Now I'm just curious if they look at 72 teams, where do they go? What's the tournament looking like there? Where does it start? When does it end? You know?
Yeah,
And it's the timetable of college football too. You know? Now they're talking about making the Army Navy game, move that. They're talking about moving rivalry games and this and that. There's no point in doing that at all.
I watched the video this week. Actually yesterday, from Josh Pate, who I like to watch sometimes, talking about what he would do to fix the college football calendar. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it, but I he's probably one of the only guys I actually like to enjoy and listen to, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yes, I would check that out. It's about how he's going to plan to save bowls, but he has this elaborate plan of like a week zero actually becomes week one.
Hmm.
You move the season up a little bit. You have all these games happen before Thanksgiving, regardless. I don't want to go too much into detail about it. He goes on this elaborate thing that you know,
Oh.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
He went on this like whole elaborate thing Josh Pate did about how we can fix it and end the season by the new year, right? Which I do think is a good time period to stop it. You know what's simpler than that? Shrinking the damn playoff.
I had yeah, I mean it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And the only problem here with this, and we both were wrong about this, is we said there's maybe 4 or 5 teams, and then a 10 seed gets to the national championship, and then there's the narrative push of, okay, maybe we need to get 16 teams in.
And here's the problem with it, right? Is that we weren't wrong in saying there were only 4 or 5 teams that could win the national championship. We were just wrong that Miami wasn't one of those teams.
Yeah, it's a good.
That's the
Hey,
only thing we were wrong about.
yeah, yeah.
Ole Miss could not have won a national championship this year. They had a magical run. They were not a national championship team this year. Sorry.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean,
I
they
think
did
the
win.
only teams that could have won the national championship there this year went as follows: Indiana, Ohio State. I still do believe could have won one. Miami, obviously, could have won one. That's probably it. If you want to throw a fourth in there, I'd throw in Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Those are the only teams. I don't think
Oregon's
anybody Indiana played. Oregon was not a national championship
Oregon
team.
Oregon's allergic to playing decent in the playoff.
Yeah,
Can't
Oregon wasn't a national
can't say
championship.
much because we got boat races same way, so I can't say. But
We did too, but
yeah.
but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody Indiana played early on was actually a national championship contender. We were just wrong about those teams heading into the playoff, and I think pretty much every team Miami played was Miami played some high quality teams to get there, but
Mhm.
there was only four. four teams that could have really actually won the national championship. We were just wrong about which ones they were.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
it's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good transition because I want to talk about one more thing before we hop off here. Um, NFL playoffs,
Yeah.
championship weekend. Let's talk about that real quick because I'm still trying to figure out which play he was hurt on. But Bo Nix gets hurt. I've seen videos of a play that they thought it was on, but then you look at the kneel down, it looks like he got stepped on.
I think it was a nail down.
It looks like the kneel down. Now, I'll let you take the ropes on the Broncos here before I get into my spiel real quick. Sean
Yeah.
Payton's got all kinds of faith in Stidham though.
He's got all types of faith in Stidham. I'll say this to start it off. It hurts as an Alabama fan having the fate of my favorite or NFL team rely on two former Auburn quarterbacks. It kills me. It eats me up inside. But nonetheless, we're here. I honestly, I'm not even going to talk about the offense because the offense is going to be what it's going to be. It's not like we've had a very prolific offense the entire year. Bo Nix isn't that good anyway. Um, so
You're
you,
still on that train? You're still on the
yeah,
Bo
I'm
Nix?
I'm very much still on the trade Bo Nix train. Right now, especially his value is high.
Yeah.
Let's move off him and see if we can go get one of these guys next year.
Which
I'd
one?
rather have
Which
which
one?
one? Uh, I don't really care who. I'd like Dante, but I don't think Dante would be good in the system that Sean Payton runs. Honestly, I would have liked Ty.
Hmm.
Uh, I wouldn't even be surprised. Like, let's go get Austin Mack, man.
Is he next one up?
Next man up. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I want to talk about the defense, man. If we can keep the run game under control, I seen y'all been leaning on Ramondre a lot more in the playoffs. Uh, but
Yeah.
but I'll say this: if the run game is under control, I still think we have a shot because we have the best pass rush in all of football.
Yeah.
And uh Drake May is gonna be in hell if uh if
Yeah.
we're able to stop the run early on and get y'all consistently into passing situations because that pass rush, Nick Bonito is a dog, man. And he's the only one I'm gonna talk about right now, but he's a dog. Uh And Drake May has already kind of shown in the playoffs that he's not just gonna go out there and light the world on fire and put up 45 points on everybody. So if all we need to do is score 21 to win, maybe Stidham can do that.
Yeah.
So
That I'm leaning to that kind of game too.
hmm
So, and I will say this, right? Because I love Will Campbell to death, but he got demolished.
yeah.
Demolished. I think it was Will Anderson majority of the time,
Yeah.
if I want to be
Will
completely honest.
Anderson, Roll
He,
Tide.
he, he got demolished. And he was pissed after the game because you see the videos of Rabel dapping up the players as they're heading back to the lot. He was pissed. You could tell.
Hmm.
Uh, the thing that has worried me, and I said this to Matt because he's a huge Chargers fan. We went and watched the Chargers Patriots game together. And you could tell Drake was a little rattled that first game. You could
Hmm.
tell. Over 2 games, I think he's lost or he's fumbled 6 balls. I don't know how many he's lost. I got to fact check that.
Hmm.
But he's when he usually has, and then I'm gonna hold on because give me a second before I say this. Uh, the pass protection's not been there,
Hmm.
so hasn't been relying on his feet much as he used to. He got a little wiggly against the Texans, though. I will say that. And granted, it was an ugly, snowy, wintry game. We love those in the NFL. Now, I'm gonna say this too, okay?
Uh-huh.
Or wait, first off, are you done with?
Oh, all I'm gonna say is if that pass pro isn't holding up,
Yeah,
Nick Bonito is one of the best in the league at the strip sack at the current
yeah,
moment.
and
So,
that's been happening a lot. Let me tell you, it's been happening a lot. I did keep receipts on all the people picking the Texans, right? I kept receipts. Okay.
Yeah.
Dan Orlovsky, he doesn't know who I am at all.
Hmm.
Boy, let me tell you, he's pissing me off. He said the Texans win that game with 31 other quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
did hear
think
that.
Davis Mills is going to go out there and be better? With all due respect, he might. He might. But we're
Yeah.
playing with house money right now, and this is what pisses me off. Everybody's talking about how if we beat the Broncos, it's because Bo Nix was hurt. A Mickey Mouse run. This has been an easy run. They're talking about the schedule being easy. They're talking about the playoffs being easy.
You did, man. I mean, y'all have had a pretty simple walk to where you're at. It hasn't been a sprint.
But what's the reasoning here? What's the reasoning?
You're not getting
Other
everybody
other
out
than
there.
other than the regular season, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got now. I will say, I am not on the. I believe y'all's defense deserves more credit for what happened to C.J. Stroud.
Thank you. Thank you. That was one of my points.
It
Thank you.
wasn't just
You
C.J.
brought that.
Stroud, like just all of a sudden was terrible. Like no, things were happening to make C.J. Stroud bad. Granted, he had been bad the game before as well, but
Was it 7 turnovers in 2 games?
yeah, 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 yeah.
But then Drake had 6 turnovers in 2 games as well. But not the point. Anyways, continue. My
Yeah,
fault.
but I do believe y'all deserve more credit. That's the game I do look at y'all and say like, wow, like okay, that's the performance the Patriots put on that should get them respect.
Hmm.
The Chargers, you don't get my respect for the Chargers.
Fair. I thought, you know what? Fair. Because I thought the same thing.
And Texans, you get my respect for, but the Broncos without Bo Nix, without the play caller that they've had the entire year, and a guy's first start being in the AFC Championship,
Here we
if
go.
you win, yes, there's a caveat to it. Well, they did beat Jared Stidham. People are gonna 5 years from now, people are gonna be like, who? I've never even heard of that guy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's
But
why the run is like you
here's the deal.
kind of go to it.
Here's the deal. Because let's say we win, right? Let's just
Uh-huh.
hypothetically say we win. We look at the Super Bowl. I've got the Seahawks as if you're looking at the power rankings, you flip the
Uh-huh.
Seahawks and the Rams 1 and 2, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
Okay. In my opinion. What happens if we go and win the Super Bowl? Because I'm not saying we do win it, but what happens if we go and win the Super Bowl?
And then be like, oh wow, wait, we didn't get to see it early on, but they were the team that they showed they were.
But everyone's gonna talk about the schedule and they're gonna talk about, well, they got what if Matthew Stafford has a bad game? Matthew Stafford was off. And this is okay, hold on. I'm getting on a tangent right now, but let me backtrack real quick because the
Uh,
whole the whole year, no one expected us to make it this far, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
no, yeah, for sure.
We're here. Everyone's trying to discredit us like we shouldn't be here. Well, we won our games, even if they were easy or not. We won the games to get here.
Yeah,
If anybody else had that game, anyways, okay.
I hear you. I hear you.
And this is, like I said, Dan Orlovsky does not know me, right? I hope to God I get to meet him and shake his hand one day. But it's
Yeah,
so funny to see the narrative with Josh Allen.
yeah, 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 yeah,
He
yeah.
he he dang near got Sean McDermott fired, in my opinion.
He did get him fired. Everybody forget he turned the ball over 4 times.
And I was like, here's the deal: how is he getting the LeBron James treatment of getting a
Whoa,
save?
whoa, 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 whoa.
No,
Oh,
no,
you
no, no,
talking
no,
about
no.
him getting the GM. Oh, I thought you were talking about the media.
No, no, no,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, 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 no,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no,
Go ahead.
no. The LeBron James treatment of being having a say in who they hire as their next head coach when he hasn't done anything, with all due respect.
He's an MVP.
What is that? MVP. Okay, yeah. An MVP, but was he has he won an AFC championship? Has he won a Super Bowl yet?
Nah, never. I
LeBron
know he,
James has every say, in my opinion, to go be like, yeah, let's talk about this and that. Let's talk about bringing in this guy or that guy.
yeah.
There's no excuse for Josh Allen losing that game other than himself.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. He lost that game. He did throw what was an interception, by the way. Everybody wants to act like it's not when you freeze frame a play. everything. If you freeze frame every pass breakup, it looks like PI. If you
Yeah,
freeze frame 50-50 balls, it's going to look like the receiver caught it. But no, it was an interception.
I'm gonna be honest here. I'm defending the Bills here, which is ugly to say. I was always taught that a 50-50 goes to the receiver.
But it wasn't 50-50. You have to survive the ground.
But Brandon Cooks had his knee down.
Look, you can have your knee down, and even if you hit the ground and that ball pops out, what is it? Incomplete because the process of the catch has not been completed.
We can make that argument with so many different plays of how it isn't. This is the thing is what is a catch and what is not a catch at this point in the NFL.
But
But
one thing that has been consistent is when the ball pops out after you hit the ground, that ball is incomplete.
all right, then let's go back to Georgia's pick six against Kentucky. Let's go
Well,
back
we're
to that
talking NFL. We're talking NFL. They got different catch rules. They only
one.
got to get 1 foot down in college. They only got to get 1 foot down in college. We know you have to survive the ground. So if you go to the ground and the ball ends up in the hand of the defender, that's when the process of the catch has been completed. It's an interception.
hmm
The knee down doesn't rule you down when you haven't completed the
And
process.
it's such a gray area though in the NFL. But that's the problem.
Yeah. But it's an interception.
It's like the
And
Des Bryant catch or no catch.
right.
That's when it killed. What is it?
And Dez Bryant is the reason why we have to survive the ground. That play is the reason why we have to survive the ground.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't even remember what my point was with Josh Allen. There was a freezing. I just got on a kind of a hate train there.
It's all good. But yeah, I forgot what we
Orlovsky.
were talking about.
Dan Orlovsky. I
Oh,
know it's
Dan
Dan
Orlovsky, yeah.
Orlovsky. Oh, but it's just it's funny to me. And this is just maybe I'm seeing it from the I'm a Patriots fan perspective, right?
Hmm.
Just the media talk about us is just comical.
Hey, I hear you.
Comical. Now talking about that with the Seahawks and the Rams, because I had to say it, I think Matthew Stafford ran away with the MVP at this point. I don't think there's a world that Drake May could even come back and win it. That is the
Mm-mm.
game I'm watching. No disrespect to our game, because I've got whoever wins that game pretty much wins the Super Bowl. Hate to say it, love my team,
Hmm. Well,
but
let's see how it plays out. The Broncos make it. They got a shot. I don't know about the Patriots, but the Broncos make it. Jared Stidham's Nick Foles
Nick Foles
2.0.
exactly. Hey, I've been saying that. I've been preaching that.
Hey, so
I've been preaching
if it happens, man, if the Broncos win,
that.
never mind.
No, no,
Okay.
that's another point I was talking about. If the Broncos win, well, there's a generational loss for the Patriots.
Yeah,
They shouldn't lose this game.
you shouldn't.
We shouldn't have lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl, but you know what happened?
You did.
We did. Undefeated, lost to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, and that's what pisses me off is if we lose this game, there's gonna be no hearing the end of this, and it's annoying. It's annoying. So,
If we lose this game, it's the perfect opportunity for no matter of fact, if we win this game and we find a way to win the Super Bowl, that'd be a perfect opportunity to do.
no
Pick
idea.
up the phone. Hey, Las Vegas, how would you like Bo Nix for that number one pick?
You're the only Broncos fan that I know that just hates Bo Nix. This was comedy.
Because this is as good as it's gonna get. Everybody acts like it's still ascending. It's not. He still makes bonehead decisions. He hasn't been great. Everybody acts like he's been great because we're winning. No, this is he's playing below the level of 2015 Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning was on his last leg and was throwing ducks everywhere.
Peyton Manning got a Super Bowl though, for y'all.
You trade for that number one pick, right? And you start to continue to rebuild that roster this year just around Jared Stidham. And the next year, we're going to maneuver our way in the back half of that first round because we won't win a Super Bowl with him. We'll probably just be a fringe playoff team with him. And go that mid first round, late first round, and you go get you one of those dogs. Or, last thing, and I'm going to get off this topic, you trade Bo Nix this year, you trade back again, and you go get you Ty Simpson.
See, you're starting to sound like maybe on the levels of the Falcons with Michael Penix right now. If I'm going to be completely
You go get Todd Simpson. I think Todd Simpson and Sean Payton will be a match made in heaven.
there's a reason why you're not an NFL GM, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Everybody's gonna look back. We're gonna have this conversation again 3 years from now when everybody's like, "Can you believe the Broncos signed Bo Nix to that Tua contract? This is gonna happen. This is one of it's just Tua 2.0. Can you
There's
believe
no way.
to that Bo? Can you believe they signed Bo Nix to that contract? It just killed their franchise. And I'm gonna be over here like, I said it when he was on top of the world. Trade him.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.